Where do we go from here? Manchester United drawing 0-0 at Selhurst Park. The same old story in front of goal. Everyone said their piece. Me and Jay are here in the late night show to break everything down and talk through all of the details of what happened. Want to mainly get Jay's say on everything that happened today at Selhurst Park. Some good, some not so good. In the end, just really disappointing is how I've come out of that. I feel a little bit deflated and a little bit flat. Still thinking about it now and listening back to some of the comments from the Sky pundits and then listening to other people online as well. Just not a happy fan base again. Jay is in the show as well. Welcome, Jay.
Adam, how you doing, my friend?
I've been better. I was hopeful, and I was hoping that we would continue what has been a very good week for United so far. But it is what it is with United right now. We always knew that this could happen, and it sort of happened because I'm sort of stuck in between where we was previously, and this game wasn't that. But there was elements of it which kind of overrided every bit of positive in the end, it seemed, and how everyone feels. By the way, everyone, please give the video a like and subscribe as well. Get your comments and questions into me and Jay. But Jay, over to you. Your sort of overall look on that game and what you thought of it today.
I'll sum it up in one sentence, Adam. It was a case of the good, the bad, and the ugly tonight. Remember that old Eastwood movie, spaghetti western from the 60s or 70s? The good, bad, and the ugly. What I feel bad for tonight, Adam, is the travelling fans making their way to London. Positivity, at zenith levels after 10 goals in 2 games. And then they're walking into London night, a case of could have, should have, would have after that performance. So frustrating for fans spending all that money to go all that way to leave dejected. And to give the fans credit, up to the last minute, those fans were still trying to egg those players on to get that goal and 3 points. But it's the off-youth phrase, Adam. We've said it many times. If you can't finish your dinner, you get what you deserve. And first half, that game should have been 3-4-0. I think we can all agree. Obviously, we have the stats to go through if you want. That game should be decided at half-time. And I felt, as we discussed off air, that after Eze went through on the 74th minute, that those players looked like, oh shit, I think we better park the bus here, shut up shop, and go for a draw after. So tonight I'd say United grasped a draw from the jaws of victory. That's my succinct analysis, my friend.
Is that the weak mentality of these players? How we've not managed to score, and then that playing on the psyche, playing on the minds, that we are now just going to have to accept that it's not going to happen for us, rather than carrying on and continuing to try and go for it?
Well, what have we said for years in our conversations? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And that tonight, Adam, for me, is manifested in one man on that pitch, and that's Mr. Bruno Fernandes.
He's coming for a lot of stick, hasn't he, tonight? I mean, even I went in on Bruno Fernandes. Like, why is Ten Hag not taking him off, though? Is that simply down because he's the captain and he just refuses to do that with his captains? I mean, he has brought him off before when a team are winning. Is it just a case of, like, he just feels like Bruno can just pull something out of the bag, out of nothing, and he has to leave him on in case that happens, rather than looking at trying to build a passage of play or try and get to grips with the game again?
Okay, that's a fair analysis, and maybe that is what's in Ten Hag's head, that Bruno would pull something out of nothing. This was Bruno's worst performance I've seen in well over a year tonight. The constant, I've seen lads on Twitter refer to as hero balls, Hollywood balls. When he's got to play the simple 10-15 yard pass, side of your foot to your nearest man, and then go make an angle for a return pass, what will Bruno do? He'll try and do a flick or a twist from the outside of his foot. There's a point tonight, I think, in the 45 seconds, he lost possession 5 times. 5 times, my friend. And you're the manager, you're looking at your captain, and he's putting out that dross. Surely logic would dictate you take him off to send a message to everyone else in the team that everybody in this team, if you don't perform and do what I want, do what I ask and what I need and what the fans require, you're coming off and I will replace you. Instead, Adam, his subs tonight were abysmal.
Yeah, Ten Hag has just come out, Laurie Whitwell has just come out with a tweet about Ten Hag answering questions on Marcus Rashford. I've not heard anything on Bruno yet, but about around Rashford, Ten Hag is going in on the pundits straight away. Ten Hag has said, I heard already speculation from pundits. It's crazy as a person. You are not okay when you bring such speculation when you don't know. It was just rotation. I am very happy with Marcus in everything he is doing. Again, he's got to expect that, hasn't Jay? Like, he's gonna have to expect now. Like, why did you play Eriksen? Why did you drop Rashford when he's on such form? Why will you not bring Bruno Fernandes off when it's clearly not working and that method is not working? He's gonna have to answer these questions right now. And the fans, I feel like, where they do accept and are understanding of Manchester United's first half performance. Let's just say an hour, we dominated the game. We were the best team by a country mile. And how we didn't score, I do not know. That is all there. But if you don't score, and we just talked about it, then it's the character to carry on until the end. And that's what a lot of fans are going to look to more rather than the positive of that game, because we've seen elements of this more before than what we did have and what we've seen in that first hour. Is that not right, Jay? And that's why the fan base are probably overly critical of a game that we didn't do too bad in.
Adam, you're spot on. The fans have every right to be overly critical. Hit the first half, Adam. 9 shots for us, vis-a-vis 2 for Palace, with 4 on target. Hit the woodwork twice and 2 blocked. So the 4 shots, 2 blocked, 2 off the woodwork. We should have been 3-4 up at half time.
Yep.
Plain and simple. So the fans have every reason to be critical. You referenced Eriksen there, and we were skeptical of him starting today, and I think a lot of the live chat on Thursday was saying, don't start him. Tonight, I think Eriksen should Bruno up. Absolutely. I wouldn't take Eriksen off. I'd take Bruno off. Regarding Rashford, look, the quotes there that we'll come out with, Ten Hag always speaks in riddles, and he hides behind the fact that English is his first language, where Dutch people learn English as long as we learn it when we're children. So I don't accept the second language theory. Rashford came on tonight, and his contribution to the game was winning a free kick in the 94th minute. Up to that point, Rashford was a ghost on the pitch. So that sub was null and void. He threw Rasmus Højlund into the void that is just back from injury, and took up Zirkzee, who I thought actually was playing quite well, and I would have left him on.
You actually thought Zirkzee was okay? Because a lot of people were saying he was the weak link in that first half, and why we didn't put the ball in the back of the net.
Zirkzee is not going to be your out-and-out striker. I don't think it's in his game. Maybe he can develop it. Zirkzee is your player that you're going to do one of 2 things to. And this is how I read it. And everyone live chat come at me, by all means. You're either going to supply him with crosses in the box, use his height and physicality. Or B, you play the ball to feet, with his back to goal, and he brings other players into the game. He's not ever going to be your 25, 30 goal season striker. That's not his game. That's my analysis on Zirkzee.
He's not. And is that where the problem is? I'm going to come to the chat in a minute. Actually, there's a very relevant super chat in there from Block N2410. He says, wouldn't we be in the top 4 if we kept Ronaldo right now? The problem is, and he's not just referencing Ronaldo there, he's saying Ronaldo really was the last natural goal scorer. I had my issues with Ronaldo. I understood why Ten Hag got rid of him. That's all by the by, and water under the bridge and everything right now. But it still highlights the big issue at Manchester United, Jay, which is we don't have a goal scorer, and we have spent over 100 million on 2 players that are not prolific in front of goal that we're pinning our hopes on. I just don't understand why United would put so much pressure on young players like we've got in that front line. The most senior player is your man Marcus Rashford, Jay.
Yeah, we've dropped 100 million on 2 developmental strikers. Each of those strikers needed a senior, established striker, late 20s, even early 30s to learn from. That's why I was so adamant that we go after Ivan Toney. Now, I know a lot of people say Toney's attitude and he's a bit of a maverick, and the legal issues he had previous season. But a player of that ilk that's going to come in and say, yeah, I am a striker, I am the man, and a player that younger strikers can look up to and watch his game, even from the bench. When they come on, then they can spot the weaknesses, they can see the runs the senior striker is making, and they can try and replicate them. But 2 young strikers, who are they learning from? I know we have Nistelrooy, in, and he obviously is working with them in the training ground. But thus far, it's not been manifested in the pitch. And part of the 10 goals now in 2 games, that's by the by. They were against a weak opposition, and you acknowledge that in all your shows. When push comes to shove, when it's a cutting-edge Premiership game, our strikers simply right now are not clinical.
No, they are definitely not clinical. Quick one, 5 donated memberships from Modern Samurai. You absolute legend. They have gone to Stephen McGinn, Malps, Ken Agua, Lord Rogers, and Rude Van Rooney. Oh, God. Just happened to be them names there on that one. Alien Red Devil with a super chat. Also, Adam, check Zirkzee's heat map. It's crazy good. As in good, I'm not sure. Modern Samurai also says Zirkzee held up play well, and we squandered those chances. I mean, I can count off the top of my head the clear-cut ones, Jay. I think Delit should have scored. I think obviously Garnacho should have scored. Bruno Fernandes should have scored from the rebound of that. They're the three clear-cut ones I thought United should have done better with. But it all came from set pieces, mainly, the start of it, in terms of Christian Eriksen. You touched on Christian Eriksen there. I think we've got a little bit of a selection dilemma right now, Jay. And we talked about Bruno Fernandes and the issue there. This is now mounting up because he has got sat on his bench over £100 million worth of holding midfielder in Casemiro and Manuel Ugarte now. He's got Bruno Fernandes, who he feels he has to play because he's the captain and he can pull something out of the bag. Our best midfielder performer at the moment is Christian Eriksen. The pressure is mounting, and now that Højlund is back, he's got pressure in dealing with him and Zirkzee. Mason Mount is also back fit. You could argue amongst a lot of this fan base right now, Jay, that you've got 2, maybe 3 number 10s all playing better in that role than what Bruno is, from evidence of the season alone so far, in Mount, Zirkzee and Eriksen. Christian Eriksen is playing better in a probably 8 role than what Kobbie Mainoo is. And you know where I'm going with this. It's like, how does Ten Hag handle this situation? Because there's going to be an outcry sooner or later for him to drop Bruno Fernandes and keep playing Christian Eriksen and trying to find a way to fit Manuel Ugarte in. And then you've got Casemiro left out. Honestly, this is what worries me, because I don't think he's got the qualities to maintain the squad and keep everyone involved. And I've talked about this being a positive this week as well. But it concerns me now after a bad result, like Bruno's not working, but he is going to play him. That is a major issue, I think, that could cause friction within the squad.
Okay, so Bruno plays in a 4-3-3 for Portugal.
On the left.
On the left. Thank you, Adam. On the left. So right now, he doesn't fit his system. And we chatted off air that I was messing a former United player. And that's exactly what he said. Bruno does not fit the system. Mm-hmm. And if your captain does fit the system, surely or later, the penny drops with Ten Hag, because he as you referenced, he has a wealth of selection issues there between 8 and 10. Surely would you not now sit your captain on the bench for 2 games, 20 coming up and Spurs? Just 2 games, let him on the bench. You saw what happened on Tuesday night. I know it was a weak opposition. Bruno comes on for a few minutes. He gets 2 assists. So would you not see Bruno sitting on the bench for 70 minutes for 2 games, then bring him on and let him see the system, how it is without him being on the pitch, watching Eriksen, watching Mount. And I don't think Mount got enough credit in the 2 games he played. We know he got injured, and the 50 million, did we need him? That's another debate for another show. But the 2 games this season that I've seen him play, I would play Mount over Bruno right now. And the live chat is probably having a meltdown even at that comment.
I don't think they will at the moment, mate. I'm going to go into the live chat now. So if you've got any questions, everybody, please do get the questions across to us, me or Jay, and we'll get through as many as we possibly can. More quote from Ten Hag here. I feel he's saying that the draw is good in what he said here, Jay. I'll get your thoughts on this in a minute. But in Brighton, we should have drawn or even win the game there. So we lost 3 points. Today, we also probably lost 2 points because of the first half. But the thing is that we don't lose this game in the end.
Nah, come on. That's weak. That's weak.
That's sort of like trying to... I think he's doing his manager's bit in trying to defend his players. I can understand that. But you cannot cling on to holding on to a point when you were so dominant. Within his same sentence there, he said we should have won, but we'll take a draw because it's not a defeat. And that would have been the same as what Brighton was. So really sort of looking at improvement from Brighton, that we didn't lose a game we should have won. And we've got a point out of it, worst case. That's how I read that. I don't know about you, Jay.
So it depends on your perception of tonight. Are you going with the glass half full or half empty?
Yeah, I think that's where Ten Hag is as well, isn't it? Like, he's trying to half full it, isn't it? Because there were good positives there, but he's clinging on to that, I feel.
So it goes back to my opening statement. Tonight was the good, the bad, and the ugly. We had the good in the first half. We had the bad in Bruno's horrific passing, and the ugly finishing.
Ugly finishing, God. I mean, how much do we put it down to Dean Henderson having that game that we hoped when we spoke the other night, Jake, he wouldn't have?
Adam, I wish I hadn't said what I said on Thursday night. Lordy hell, man. I blame myself. What did I say? He'll activate Gigi Buffon settings. And there he is tonight, summering his inner Buffon. I should have just shut up and not made a comment. I blame myself now.
He is. He's cashing them checks, mate, that you said, unfortunately. You got to laugh, haven't you? And it took me back to the Brad Friedel days when he just used to always have a worldie against United. It's like, are we ever going to bleeding score? Honestly, he's just one of them. When he hit the bar and then Bruno hit the bar, I was like, oh no, that sinking feeling's creeping in here. Where I'm excited and I'm happy that we're playing all right football. I thought the result is going to be the overwhelming factor in all of this. And unfortunately, this result is going to look bad on paper, and it's not going to stop the pundits. It's not going to stop the journalists or the reporters saying that Manchester United are failing again. You can talk about performance all you want, and it was better, but we do want to see goals. But what everyone will look to, Jay, is 2 wins out of 5 at the start of the season, with Spurs and Villa coming up next, who are both in form, coming back from behind and showing character that we just haven't got in our side. And it's concerning what a lot of people have said and a lot of reaction, because I was going all full on positive. I thought United were going to take the win. I was riding that sort of goal train. I had it at the back of my mind that this could all go the same way that it has done. I don't think it has gone completely that way, but the results are everything. And a lot of people have said we've only played average sides apart from Liverpool, who battered us anyway. What happens when good teams come around again? Like, it's 2 wins in 5. It's his worst start to a season after 5 games at United. And we're 3 years into season 3 now. What happens if we lose to Spurs and then lose to Villa? I know it's looking at the negative, and we could win both of them games, but looking at it right now, if you don't finish, then you're not going to get anything out of them games. It's going to be defeats, mate, because they both will score.
Yeah, of course they will. We predicted we would get 4 points between now and national break. Remember, win and a draw.
Yeah.
Well, we've had our draw tonight, so now we got to get 3 points against Villa or Spurs.
Yeah.
How confident are you getting a win against either of those teams?
I'm not confident.
Spurs
I think
next Saturday, like Jesus, mate.
Spurs is 50-50. Like, Spurs right now, I don't know what. I mean, they dominated Arsenal. They did what we did today. They dominated Arsenal, couldn't put the ball in the net. They then gone away and got a late win, which is morale boosting, no matter even if it is Coventry or not, a lesser team. They've scored 2 late goals and won that. Then they've come from behind today. Dominic Solanke's got his first goals, and they've battered Brentford, having lost a goal in the first 24 seconds. So that's the concern I've got. They show character to not go down after the Arsenal game at Coventry and win that late on. They've then shown even bigger character to come from behind early today when it just looks like everyone's piling in and Angie's under pressure. Well, everyone's moaning about Ange right now and going in on him, and he's just won 2 games. And he's took them ahead of Manchester United. We're all talking positives as how we've played and everything, Jay, but let's not forget, we have dropped down a place from where we started the day. The results don't lie, and the results will be the deciding factor in all of it. I don't care if anyone else came out and said it's not about the results, it's about a style of play. Look, the fan base won't accept being in the bottom half of the table after 5 games. I'm sorry, and if we do lose to Spurs and Villa, then we're going into an international break, the second international break of the season after 7 games in the bottom half of the table. That is not acceptable. We need to win both games for me, Jay, to convince the fan base that we are turning a corner.
I take one word out of what you said there, character.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs club, Spurs team are not known for exhibiting steely character. What did Roy Keane always say? His team talk. Because Spurs, it's after watershed. It's fucking Spurs, lads. So Spurs were never known to have character, and all of a sudden now we have a Spurs team under Ange, or Ange, however you want to pronounce it, that are showing character that I think a lot of our players are bereft of. Mm-hmm. I'm not at all confident about next week. Look at Adam. I want to be proven wrong. Obviously, I want to be wrong. I want our lads to rock up and beat Spurs 2-0, 2-1. But after what I saw tonight, I'm scared for next week.
Yep. We ain't good enough. We ain't going to finish 4th with if we're struggling with bottom table clubs. Let's not forget, Palace still haven't won a game this season, and we struggled to score past them. Yes, defence. The defence was excellent, but midfield and attack, ? I don't like this slow, lethargic play. Not United, says Andrew. The first comment was Modern Samurai there. If we can't beat Palace, we're in serious trouble, says Malps. We can definitely beat Spurs. We're at home. We lost to Liverpool at home. I don't take Old Trafford as a given for anything anymore. I really don't. Let's not forget, Spurs drew with us last season at Old Trafford. So, again, not confident with that one. Jeffrey says, what concerned me the most was how slow we were second half, waiting for them to come out when it was obvious they were just sitting in. Yeah, I think they figured us out in the second half. Don't worry, Adam, we will win the FA Cup, says Modern Samurai. We ain't getting no points in the next 2 games, says Tom. There's a lot of negativity in there really is. Last match, we kept at it to the last second. Today, it collapsed with the subs. Just sad it could so easily have been a win by several goals. It shoulda, coulda, woulda. Unfortunately for United, is the story of this season so far. We're bang average, beating Southampton and Barnsley, and people saying we're back. Joke, coach has to go to improve United. He hadn't the balls to take Bruno off. A lot of people are calling out the balls for Ten Hag on that Bruno factor, like what we said. We have a super chat in from Jay Sood. Hi guys, hope you're both well. State say Zirkzee had more successful passes in the final third, but stats said Zirkzee, not State. Typo there, sorry. We massively dropped off when he went off. He should have had 90 minutes. Bruno needs benching. It's all leading to Bruno Fernandes, Jay, with a lot of people in here. Adam says, same story, beat up 2 bottom feeder teams. Big whoop. Then look at today. Same old Haddix. It's coming back down to our man, isn't it, Mr. Fernandes, Jay? Again, I didn't see the stats on Zirkzee. I said I thought Zirkzee should have scored with his header. I got it on target. He's not a prolific goal scorer. If you buy an out-and-out goal scorer and you start trusting your system and not playing Bruno in the system every single week, then you might get more success. But there were great performances. The back 4, I thought, was solid and brilliant in the first half. The midfield, I thought Mainu was average, Bruno was poor, and Eriksen was very good. The front 3 were causing all sorts of problems. There's just a couple of players in there in key positions, Jay, that are not performing to what we need. And sadly, they are the big name ones, aren't they?
Okay, so back 4. Dalot first. I want to do a little bit on Dalot. I like Dalot today, constantly coming into midfield and offering overloads in midfield. I liked him today. He's one of our better fullbacks. I know last weekend we were going in hard on Dalot. He made a couple of mistakes, got skinned for crosses. But today, I like Dalot, positive performance. Delit looks like he's been playing for us for years, centre back.
Yeah, he's been good, hasn't
he? He has been good. I've been impressed. Stat for you in the first half: defense, 100% of tackles won in the first half. Martinez looked like he was getting very frustrated there at the end. You saw when he went in with that two-footed jump. What the shit was that about?
Oh, mate, honestly, I was going to ask you on that. Like, that is a heads gone moment right there.
Yeah.
That is majorly concerning. Someone's just put in the chat there. Alien says it in the chat. He says, Adam Martinez is a worry now. That two-footed challenge was crazy. Like, what's going through a player's head when you're in so much control and then you could just blow it up like that, Jay? I don't understand it at all. It's. I mean, you've seen the film Mean Machine with Monk, the goalkeeper.
Monk, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Statham's character.
Jason Statham, yeah.
I'm like, that. What's going through you? I'm just like, I missed it at first, and then I heard Alan Smith, the co-commentator, say, you're dominating a game, and then one of your players does that and could get a red card. I was like, I'm like, what's he done here? And I look back again, I was like, holy shit. Like, what's going through a man's head? And that again, like, where is the head at, Jay?
Look, that's what I would call a brain fart. That's reckless beyond belief. If he makes even a modicum of contact on the player, he's off the pitch.
Yeah.
So that was 63rd minute. I have it down here. And then 64th minute, Onana makes that double save.
Yeah.
That game could have hinged on the 63rd, 64th minute.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? You made up a good point there, actually, Jay. Onana, I've slagged him off to high heaven. He saved us again today. I think from him and that double save, I feel, that would have been it. That would have been fan outrage at its highest level right there. If Onana didn't make that double save, which was a fantastic double save, and again, I have to pay my dues and just say, look, well done, Andre Onana. You actually turned up for this team today, and he played a massive role again in keeping Manchester United with that clean sheet.
Yeah, it's like you and I have both been very critical of Onana, and rightly so. And you know the evidence does back up our criticism. But tonight, double save again last week. Remember the penalty and the reaction. Mm-hmm. So have the goalkeeping coaches have been doing work with him on his flexibility and his reflexes, because those double saves. Some people would say it's instinctive. Other people would say it's recruitment of fastest motion fibers. Others would say then maybe he's just improved his technique, or he was a fluke, or all of the above. But look, I digress. Onana tonight, we got to give him his credit, and rightly so. He saved us tonight, or we're walking away 1-0. And then 10 minutes later, we had Eze clean through, and that shot that went to the left-hand side of the post. That could be 2-0. I know it could have, should have, would have. But tonight, Adam, I think we are indebted to Onana as fans.
Yeah, I think we do have to look at that. There are positives in this game, like Mazraoui and Delit, again. Fantastic signings. Onana had a good game. Like you said, Dalot was good. Ericsson was superb. I'm seeing more and more people there. 88% Zirkzee passing completion tonight, and he's the one that got brought off. Sometimes you don't see the quiet work that goes on within a game, and I think Zirkzee is probably an example of that today. I just feel like, again, it's a player that Ten Hag does not know how to handle. He gives us something completely different, strength. Like, I think in the first 2 minutes, the ball went right up, long ball. He just chested it off the defender at his back to Ahmad and to set up a counter, or not a counter, but set up an attack down our right-hand side. He's got that in him. He's got them silky skills. I don't think he's a natural finisher. I really don't. And it's going to take a while, but I think there is natural replacement there for possibly Bruno Fernandes in at 10. Personally, I think Zirkzee could be that number 10.
I like the way you're thinking, Adam. That's That's what we call that. Blue sky thinking, to quote a management term. So Zirkzee at 10, using his physical prowess, using his control, his vision, and his awareness of to where he is in the pitch vis-a-vis his teammates. Something that Bruno is devoid of.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a poll running right now. Will Højlund start the next game? 57% of you have said no. I don't think he will. I think the problem we've got right now is, and I think it's all right saying Manuel Ugarte has to adapt to English football. I mean, Ugarte has to play against FC20, and that is only on a Wednesday night and then leading into the Sunday. So more than enough recovery time for him. I think we need Ugarte in this side permanently and settled in as quickly as possible. He isn't going to get settled in if he's not playing games. I think he needs to play games now and learn how the Premier League is. He's not going to get any better at Carrington. He's not. He is what he is, and he's at the age where he's already developed into the player that he is, and that's why we bought that player. He should be in that team somehow. He needs to figure out again, and we said this, over the next few games, over the next few weeks, Ten Hag needs to figure out what his best side is and start working from there. I still don't think he's convinced. And today, the substitutions and trying to bring Rashford off and make something else work kind of backfired on him a bit. It did. I'm not saying that Rashford would have changed the game, but it just proved to me that we just don't have a settled first 11, and it's always going to keep changing. I think the big decisions come down to his big players and the ones that he's trusted before, but that's the concern for me, Jay, that he doesn't know who his best 11 is.
So then, against Twente on Thursday night, if I'm a manager, I'm starting Ugarte, Casemiro, and Mason Mount. I'm giving Eriksen a break because I would like to play Eriksen on Sunday against Spurs. Eriksen for 2 games in a row. He needs a break. So that's my midfield 3. My back 4 fullbacks picked themselves. I would not be averse to taking Martinez out of that team and bringing in either Maguire or Evans. Give him a run out. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't mind the back 3. I don't, but for me, honestly, yeah, I don't got a problem with Martinez being rested for the 20 game. I've not. I do think we need Martin. I think he is our best defender still. And I wouldn't be jumping the gun and bringing him out. I just feel like it's difficult because he has them moments like we've seen today. But hey, look, it's down to Ten Hag. He needs to fix this. He's got a lot to think about. But Jay, me and you have got boxing to watch, my friend. And
yes,
we
do
need to get wrapping up to make sure that everybody gets the chance to watch Joshua versus Dubois. Are you going for in the fight, actually, Jay? Where's your money on with that one before we finish up?
I've always had a soft spot for Anthony Joshua. As a character, I've always liked him. Massive Eddie Hearn fan as well. I love the charisma. But Dubois could be a step too far. I think it'll go to points and Dubois to win.
Oh, you reckon? I can't see it going
Joshua.
points.
I like Joshua, but what do you think?
I think one of them's going down. I think it's whoever connects first, because they're both heavy hitters. What he did to Hrgović, Dubois, I think he's had the better year. I mean, you can't really count the fights that Joshua has had for me. But Dubois, I think, has had the harder fights. And I think he's had a better year. I think he's tougher. And we'll see. It's who connects first, because Joshua's got a glass jaw, as we know. And Dubois can hit. He can hit hard. So let's see. I'm excited to watch it anyway, mate. So we'll wrap things up there. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all of the super chats. New members, donated members from everybody. Absolutely superb. Jay, absolute pleasure to have you on. I know it's a late one, but we've got everything covered. We can concentrate on our other football now the rest of the weekend, mate.
Yeah, Boston tonight and tomorrow, my beloved NFL.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Everybody, absolute legends. Thank you all. It's been a long day, and United failed in the end. We live to fight another day. We'll see how much fight is in this team. FC 20 next on Wednesday night, everybody. And then it's the big one next Sunday. Me and Jay will be back. Oh, Spurs at home. That is now a humongous game for Manchester United and Ten Hag. But plenty of content in between then. I love you all. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Enjoy the boxing. And we will see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock, bright and early, with all of the news coming from the aftermath of today's game and more. See you later, everyone. Have a good one.